Welcome to the Purple Gift Box podcast. We're really glad you could join us for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think everyone grapples with, especially around holidays or birthdays, the whole philosophy of giving.
That's right. Seems simple on the surface, doesn't it? Just giving a gift.
Exactly. But we want to go deeper than just the surface assumptions. We'll be looking at some fascinating ideas, particularly drawing from an article by Will Buckingham, and also touching on key thinkers like Marcel Mauss and Jacques Derrida.
Big names in this field.
Right. So our mission, really, is to pull out the most important kind of nuggets of knowledge to help you navigate this whole, often tricky, human experience. Okay, let's maybe unpack this with a classic example. You know that perennial question, what on earth do I get for Uncle Pedro?
Ah, yes, Uncle Pedro. Everyone has an Uncle Pedro.
Totally. Last year's socks, they were a bust. The chocolate, turns out he's allergic. Nightmare. And that fancy 6-volume Proust set, pretty sure it's still gathering dust on his shelf.
Still in the shrink wrap, probably.
Probably. It feels like this compulsion sometimes, doesn't it? We get caught in this ritual, almost a frenzy sometimes, buying things nobody seems to truly need or even want. Why do we do this?
That's a great question. And what's really fascinating here is how that simple act, that gesture of generosity, it often hides these layers of complexity.
Right.
That feeling you mentioned, that have to get him something feeling, it's universal, and it hints at something much deeper going on.
Yeah.
We tell ourselves, oh, we're just being kind, being thoughtful. But there's often this underlying tension, this obligation. It's not just about finding the right item.
No.
It's about understanding the very nature of giving itself.
Absolutely. So our goal today is to explore these hidden dynamics, these philosophical underpinnings, hopefully help you look at your next present buying moment with new eyes. Now, building on that, I know a foundational figure here is Marcel Mauss. If you've ever felt, perplexed by this whole gift ritual, his work seems like a crucial starting point. Can you tell us a bit about him?
Oh, absolutely. Marcel Mauss, he was a brilliant French sociologist and anthropologist active in the early 20th century. His 1925 work, Essay on the Gift, or Essai sur le don, it's just seminal.
Okay.
What's amazing is the sheer scope. He wasn't just looking at modern France. He was drawing data from Polynesian cultures, the Pacific Northwest, ancient Rome, ancient Germany, just an incredible range.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was apparently quite the character, prodigiously gifted, learned languages like Maori and Sanskrit just for his research.
Yeah.
Known as a fantastic storyteller. His interests were, seemingly boundless: anthropology, sociology, religion, even magic.
So what was his core argument about gifts, about our Uncle Pedro problem?
Well, Mauss's essay really unpacks those hidden dynamics we were talking about. He argues that while we give gifts as if we're acting totally freely, out of pure generosity.
Right, like we tell ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in reality, he says there's a disconnect. There's actually a kind of strict accounting system operating underneath, and an intricate mingling of symmetrical and contrary rights and duties, as he put it.
A strict accounting system for gifts. That sounds transactional.
It does, and that's his point. He argues it's far more structured, more obligatory than we like to admit. And that structure, that calculation, however subtle, is driven by what he calls economic reason, acting with an expectation of some kind of gain or return.
Okay, that's a powerful idea. So for Mauss, that feeling that you have to get Uncle Pedro something, that's not just us being neurotic, it's central to the whole thing.
Precisely. He identified what he called a threefold obligation. It's not just one thing.
Okay, what are the three?
First, there's the obligation to give, which we all recognize. You feel compelled to offer something.
Sure. The socks, the chocolate.
Right. Then second, there's an obligation to receive. This is one we often forget.
To receive.
Yes. Think about it. If someone offers you a gift, refusing it can be a serious social slight. It can damage the relationship. You're sort of obligated to accept.
I see. Like, remember how maybe I was a bit sore about the Proust set being untouched? Maybe Uncle Pedro felt he had to accept it even if he wasn't going to read it?
Could be. And the third part, crucially, is the obligation to reciprocate. If you receive a gift, you are then under an obligation to give something back, sooner or later.
Okay, so give, receive, repay.
Exactly. It's this continuous loop, this cycle, that defines the practice for Mauss. Uncle Pedro is probably stressing about what to get you right now because of that obligation to repay.
It really rings true. I can definitely think of times I got an unexpected gift and felt that immediate, internal calculation kick in. Okay, what do I need to get them now? It's almost subconscious.
And if we zoom out, Mauss saw this constant cycle giving, receiving, repaying as having a vital social function. It serves to balance the social accounts, so to speak.
How so?
It maintains and reaffirms social relationships. It cements social solidarity. It's like a powerful social glue holding communities together. Even while we're all maybe subtly watching our backs to make sure things stay fair, that the exchange feels balanced over time.
So it's less about the object itself and more about maintaining the relationship, the social fabric.
That's a big part of Mouse's argument, yes.
Hmm.
This continuous exchange keeps things flowing, prevents ruptures. It's fascinating how these unspoken rules govern so much of how we interact.
Okay, so Maus lays out this system of obligation and social connection, but it does raise a question. If it's all this kind of social accounting, what happens to the idea of just pure generosity?
Exactly.
Can a truly free gift even exist in this model? One given just for its own sake, with absolutely no expectation of anything back, not even social goodwill, is that urge to generosity we feel ever truly free?
That is precisely the knotty problem that the philosopher Jacques Derrida gets into. His work, especially given time, one, counterfeit money, tackles this head on.
Okay, Derrida, how does he approach it?
Well, Derrida's argument is pretty radical. He suggests that the very moment we recognize something as a gift, either giving it or receiving it, it's already kind of contaminated. It's entered that system as described, that realm of exchange and neutral accounting. Well, Derrida also links to economic reason,
Contaminated.
in the sense that it's no longer purely other. A real gift, a truly pure gift, Derrida argues, would have to completely break with that circle of reciprocity.
Mm.
It'd have to stand entirely outside any kind of economy, any calculation.
Wow. So how does he define that?
He puts it very powerfully. He says something like, if there is a gift, it must not come back to the giving. It must not circulate. It must not be exchanged or returned to the point of departure.
So it's a gift that basically erases itself, leaves no trace of being a gift, especially for the giver. That's
Yeah.
hard to get your head around.
It is deeply counterintuitive to how we normally think.
Yeah.
What would that even look like? Derrida says for a true gift to happen, its giftness can't really be acknowledged, not by the giver, not by the receiver.
So if I give something and feel good about myself for being generous,
That good feeling, Derrida would say that's a return. It's a form of psychic payment. It cancels out the purity of the gift. Will Buckingham's article uses a great example, fostering a cat. You take in a cat, you tell yourself it's out of kindness. But you also get companionship, maybe warm snuggles on a sofa.
yeah, shelter for snuggles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For Derrida, even the knowledge that you're a kind person for doing it, that boost to your self-image, that's a return. The giftness isn't forgotten. It's acknowledged, provides something back, even if intangible. And that, he argues, annuls its nature as a purely free gift.
So even if the return isn't material, just a feeling or a self-perception, it still counts as an exchange in his view. Wipes out the true gift.
That's the radical nature of his argument, or, giving money to someone on the street. If you walk away feeling virtuous all morning,
That feeling is the payback.
it's a more elaborate economy, yes.
Yeah.
That sense of your own moral worth, the pleasure of feeling connected or compassionate, it's a return. True generosity, for Derrida, would demand a complete absence of any such return, any self-satisfaction. The act would just happen, without registering as a gift for anyone.
Which maybe explains why Derrida apparently made that rather dry comment about Mouse's essay.
Ah, yes. He quipped that Mouse's book, despite all its detail on gift exchange, manages to talk about everything except the gift itself.
Because a gift surely should be something other than economic exchange, other than calculation.
That's Derrida's provocation. So this leads to his famous paradox. For a true gift to exist, it essentially has to remain invisible, unacknowledged. If it appears as a gift, if it's remembered, if there's any sense of having given or received, it's pulled back into the cycle of exchange. It cancels itself out.
Right.
He concludes, rather teasingly, that the very conditions that would make a gift possible, like its separation from economy, are simultaneously the conditions that make it impossible to achieve or even recognize. He says something like, these conditions of possibility of the gift designate simultaneously the conditions of the impossibility of the gift.
Wow, the possibility is the impossibility. That's dizzying.
It is.
Now, this could sound like just, intellectual gymnastics, like he's just being cynical, reducing everything to self-interest.
Yeah, you might think that, but that's not really where Derrida is going with this.
Hmm.
The real force of his argument isn't cynicism. It's actually deeply ethical.
Ethical? How so?
He's pushing against our tendency towards self-satisfaction, our complacency, when we quickly label ourselves or our actions as good or generous. He wants us to maintain a kind of genuine ethical vigilance, right in the middle of all our calculations and judgments.
So it's not saying don't give.
Not at all. It's about being aware of the complexity, refusing to just rest easy in the image of our own goodness. It's about staying open, maybe, to the possibility, however logically impossible it seems, of a generosity that could actually transcend that economic reasoning.
It's about questioning our motives constantly, even when they seem purely good.
Yes, troubling our ethical complacency, as he might say.
Hmm.
Opening up a space for a bit of unease, a bit of uncertainty about our own virtue. It makes us pause and really reflect on why we're giving.
That lands differently. It's not a shutdown, it's an opening up. So, what does this all mean for us, for you, the listener, navigating your own acts of giving? It sounds like it's not about stopping,
Definitely not.
but maybe about giving with a much deeper awareness, an awareness of this intricate dance of relationships, obligations, and maybe even our own hidden returns.
I think that's a great way to put it. It invites us to examine our motivations more closely. Are we giving just to feel good? Or to tick a box, fulfill an expectation? Or can we maybe strive for something
Mhm.
more, even knowing the pure gift might be unreachable?
Mm. Lots to think about there. And before we try and wrap our heads around that a bit more, just a quick reminder, you can dive deeper into these fascinating concepts, read more about Mauss, Derrida, and the philosophy of giving by visiting purplegiftbox.com.
That's purplegiftbox.com. Definitely worth checking out for more insights.
So, wow, we've really taken a journey here from, Uncle Pedro's socks and those everyday gift
Right
dilemmas,
back to the beginning.
all the way to these profound, pretty challenging philosophical ideas about what a true gift even is. This deep dive into Will Buckingham's piece really highlights how much is packed into seemingly simple interactions.
It really does. And the beauty of digging into Mao's social contracts or wrestling with Derrida's provocations, it isn't meant to discourage kindness or generosity, not at all.
No,
It's more about helping us appreciate the true depth of these actions. And perhaps, yeah, approaching them with a more nuanced, maybe more ethically vigilant perspective.
thinking more critically about what we mean by generosity.
Exactly, looking beyond the surface of our own actions.
Yeah.
And that awareness, I think, can only enrich our understanding of ourselves and of our relationships with others.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, here's maybe a final provocative thought for you to consider. What if gift giving isn't just about these economic circles that Mauss described, or Derrida's impossible attempt to break free from them entirely?
Where are you going with this?
Well, Will Buckingham's article actually teases this a bit, hinting at perspectives from South Asia and some indigenous cultures that view it differently. What if we think about it not as circles, but as spiral?
Spirals. Okay, tell me more.
Instead of a strict return to the starting point or a complete break, imagine generosity as more of an evolving flow, where a gift doesn't just balance an account, but actually transforms both the giver and the receiver.
Ah, I see. So the return isn't just paying back a debt.
Right. Maybe the return is something new, a deepened connection, maybe personal growth. Maybe it sets something else in motion entirely. The energy moves forward, spirals outwards or upwards, rather than just closing a loop. How might thinking in spirals change how we understand giving?
That is provocative. A gift that generates something new rather than just settling accounts. Definitely something to mull over.
Indeed. Something to think about until our next deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us on this intellectual journey today.
It's been a pleasure.
It really has. And remember, for more insights and to explore further, do make sure to visit purplegiftbox.com. Thank you for listening to the Purple Gift Box podcast.